In a bustling city nestled in the heart of Africa, there lived a young maiden named Linda. Linda was as radiant as the morning sun, with deep brown eyes and smooth ebony skin. But despite her natural beauty, she was never content. Linda's closest friends, Claire and Naomi, were the center of attention everywhere they went. Their hourglass figures and confidence turned heads, leaving Linda feeling invisible and unworthy. Claire and Naomi often boasted about their flawless shapes. They wore body-hugging dresses that accentuated their curves, attracting wealthy men who lavished them with gifts. Linda, on the other hand, felt overshadowed. She would look in the mirror and pinch her waist, wishing she could look just like her friends. Linda's insecurity grew every day. At work, in the market, and even at church, she noticed how people admired Claire and Naomi. One day, after seeing Claire get invited to a high-profile event by a wealthy businessman, Linda couldn't hold back her curiosity any longer. "Claire," she asked hesitantly, "what's the secret? How did you get such a perfect shape?" Claire exchanged a sly glance with Naomi before responding, "Oh, it's no big deal. We had surgery of BBL. We've told you before, Linda, if you want to be admired, you need to make sacrifices." Linda was shocked. "Surgery? Isn't that dangerous? And isn't it expensive?" Naomi smirked. "Dangerous, only if you go to the wrong doctor. We went to the best surgeon in Lagos. It's worth it, Linda. Look at the attention we're getting. Even you admire us, don't you?" Linda hesitated. She did admire them, but the thought of surgery terrified her. Still, the seed of discontent had been planted, and it grew every time she saw Claire and Naomi flaunting their new clothes and posting glamorous pictures online. Linda's family wasn't wealthy. After her father passed away, her mother had struggled to provide for her and her two younger siblings, Ada and Chike. They lived in a modest family house in the city. It was old but held sentimental value, as it had been built by Linda's grandfather. One evening, after another day of watching her friends bask in admiration, Linda made a reckless decision. She would get a BBL at all costs. She approached Claire and Naomi again and begged them for the doctor's contact. Naomi rolled her eyes. "You can't afford the doctor we used, Linda, but there's a cheaper one in the city. Some people say he's good." Claire chuckled. "Yeah, go to him. He's affordable. He'll give you the shape you want." Linda didn't notice the glances her friends exchanged. She was too consumed by her desire to change her body. That night, she scoured the internet and found the contact information for the doctor her friends mentioned. The man, Dr. Baya, ran an unlicensed clinic in a rundown part of the city. He assured Linda that he could transform her body for a fraction of the cost she had heard about. But Linda didn't have any money. Desperate, she hatched a plan that would change her life forever. Without consulting her mother, Linda sold their family house. She lied to the bureau, claiming that her mother had authorized the sale. Within days, the family was evicted, left with no place to go. Linda's mother was devastated. "Linda, what have you done?" her mother wailed, clutching Ada and Chike as they stood outside the house with their belongings piled on the sidewalk. "I did it for us," Linda lied. "I'll find a way to get us a better place." But Linda wasn't thinking about her family. With the money from the house, she booked an appointment with Dr. Baya. The clinic was nothing like Linda had imagined. The walls were peeling, the equipment looked outdated, and the nurses seemed untrained. Deep down, Linda felt uneasy, but she brushed off her doubts. "This is my only chance to be beautiful," she told herself. The surgery was a nightmare. Linda woke up in excruciating pain, her body swollen and bruised. Dr. Baya assured her that the pain was normal, but something felt wrong. Over the next few days, her condition worsened. Her wounds oozed, and she developed a high fever. Back on the streets, Linda's mother and siblings were struggling. They slept in an abandoned shop, and her mother spent her days praying fervently for Linda's safety. She had no idea where her daughter was or what she had done with the money from the house. Linda's health continued to deteriorate. She couldn't contact Claire and Naomi. They had blocked her calls. Alone and desperate, she returned to her family. When her mother saw her, she gasped in horror. "Linda, what happened to you?" Linda broke down in tears. "Mama, I made a mistake, I thought. I thought this would make me happy." Her mother didn't hesitate. She took Linda to a public hospital, where the doctors confirmed the worst. The surgery had been botched, and Linda had developed a severe infection. Your life is in danger, the doctor warned. We'll do our best, but you might not fully recover. As Linda lay in the hospital bed, she realized the gravity of her actions. She had sold her family's home, betrayed her mother's trust, and risked her life all for a false sense of beauty. Months passed, and Linda slowly recovered, though her body would never be the same. Her mother forgave her, but things were never the same between them. They remained homeless, relying on the kindness of strangers to survive. One day, Linda saw Claire and Naomi at a mall. They were surrounded by admirers, laughing and posing for pictures, but Linda no longer envied them. She saw through the facade and realized that their lives weren't as perfect as they seemed. Standing in the crowd, Linda spoke up, "Don't ruin your life trying to look like someone else. I almost lost everything because I wasn't content with how God made me." Her words struck a chord with many young women who had gathered around. Linda began sharing her story, warning others about the dangers of insecurity and the pressure to conform to unrealistic standards of beauty. The moral lesson of this story is that true beauty comes from within. While it's natural to admire others, it's important to love and appreciate your own unique features. Comparing yourself to others can lead to heartbreak and regret. Linda learned this lesson the hard way, but she used her experience to help others avoid making the same mistakes. Love yourself, embrace your flaws, and remember, no one can be you better than you can.